Why didn't He protect you from that betrayal, that rejection, that pain that cut so deep you thought you'd never recover? You prayed, you believed, you trusted, and yet the hurt came anyway. And in those moments, maybe you felt abandoned. Maybe you questioned if God even cared. But here's what I've discovered. God wasn't absent in your pain. He was present with a purpose. The very people who wounded you, the ones who walked away, who betrayed your trust, who left you in pieces, God allowed them into your life not to destroy you, but to develop you. See, sometimes God will let you go through the fire, not because He doesn't love you, but because He loves you too much to leave you the same. That person who hurt you, they were never your assignment to keep. They were your assignment to grow through. And today, I want to show you the 3 powerful reasons why God allowed them to hurt you, and how understanding this will completely shift the way you see your past, pain, and your future purpose. But before we dive in, if this message is already speaking to your spirit, do me a favor, hit that like button right now and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of these life-changing messages, and make sure you turn on that notification bell because God might be using the next video to answer the prayer you've been praying. Now let's get into it. Now, the first reason God allowed them to hurt you is one of the most powerful truths you'll ever hear. God allowed them to hurt you to redirect your path. Let me say that again. The pain was a push into your purpose. See, sometimes we get so comfortable in the wrong place with the wrong people that God has to allow discomfort to move us. We get attached to what's familiar, even when it's not fulfilling. We settle for what's comfortable, even when it's not our calling. We stay where we are, even when God is trying to get us where we're supposed to be. And so God, in His infinite wisdom and His perfect love, allows someone to hurt us, someone to leave us, someone to reject us, not because He's cruel, but because He's strategic. He's redirecting us. That hurt, that rejection, that betrayal, it wasn't just an ending. It was a detour sign from heaven. It was God saying, not this way, not with them, not here. I have something better, something greater, something more aligned with who I created you to be. Think about it honestly. If they hadn't hurt you, would you have ever left? If they hadn't walked away, would you have ever pursued the dream God placed in your heart? If that door hadn't closed, would you have ever knocked on the door God was trying to open for you? If that job hadn't ended, would you have started that business? If that relationship hadn't failed, would you have discovered your true identity? If that friendship hadn't dissolved, would you have found your real purpose? The answer is probably no. You would have stayed. You would have settled. You would have missed your destiny because you were too comfortable in a place. God never designed you to remain. God allowed them to hurt you because staying where you were would have cost you your destiny. The pain wasn't punishment, it was redirection. And sometimes the most painful goodbyes lead to the most beautiful hellos. Let me take you to the Bible. Look at Joseph. Genesis 37 through 50 tells his story. His own brothers hated him, plotted to kill him, and eventually sold him into slavery. Joseph was betrayed by his own family, the people who were supposed to love him and protect him. He ended up in Egypt as a slave. Then he was falsely accused and thrown in prison. Year after year, betrayal after betrayal, pain after pain. And I'm sure Joseph wondered, God, where are you? Why did you allow this? But here's what Joseph couldn't see in the moment. God was redirecting him. Every betrayal was moving him closer to his throne. Every hurt was positioning him for his purpose. Every painful step was part of the path to his destiny. And years later, when Joseph was second in command in Egypt, when he had the power to save nations from famine, when he was finally face to face with the brothers who had hurt him, he said these powerful words in Genesis 50:20. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Did you catch that? They intended harm, but God intended good. Their intention was to destroy him, but God's intention was to develop him, redirect him, and position him to save nations. And I'm here to tell you today, the same God who redirected Joseph is redirecting you. What they meant for evil, God is turning for your good. Where they tried to stop you, God is setting you up. The pain you're feeling right now is the birth pang of your purpose being born. If God is redirecting your path right now, if you can feel Him moving you into something new, type redirect in the comments. Let's agree together that God is up to something good. And here's the second reason, and this one might be the most important. God allowed them to hurt you to refine your character. Now I know that's not easy to hear when you're in pain. You might be thinking, why did my character need refining? I wasn't the one who did wrong. I wasn't the one who betrayed. I wasn't the one who lied, who cheated, who walked away. And you're right. But refinement isn't about punishment, it's about preparation. Let me explain it this way. Gold doesn't become valuable in its natural state. It has to go through fire. The fire burns away all the impurities, all the dirt, all the worthless material, until all that's left is pure gold, the most precious, the most valuable, the most desired. The third reason God allowed them to hurt you was to reveal what was hidden inside of you, inside of them, and inside the situation itself. You see, sometimes we don't know our own strength until we're forced to use it. We don't discover our faith until it's tested. We don't recognize our resilience until we're required to rebuild from the ground up. That person who hurt you, they revealed character you didn't know you had. Think about it. The moment they walked away, you discovered you could stand alone. When they betrayed you, you learned who you really could trust. When they broke your heart, God showed you that He was the healer you'd been looking for all along. You found strength you didn't know existed. You discovered faith that could survive the fire. You uncovered a resilience that couldn't be broken by any person, any circumstance, any betrayal. But here's the deeper truth that many people miss. God also used that situation to reveal their true character, not to hurt you, but to protect you from something far worse. Let me explain. Imagine if God hadn't allowed them to show their true colors when they did. Imagine if you had gone further with them. Imagine if you had married them, built a business with them, invested another 5, 10, 15 years into that relationship. Imagine if you had tied your destiny to theirs permanently. God, in His mercy, allowed them to reveal who they really were early enough to save you from a disaster you can't even imagine. What felt like a painful ending was actually a merciful intervention. Proverbs 25 says, "The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out." God allowed the pain to draw out what was hidden in the deep waters of their heart, so you could see clearly before it was too late. That betrayal that hurt so bad, it saved your life. That rejection that broke your heart, it protected your future. That relationship that ended, it prevented a tragedy. And here's what I need you to understand. Sometimes God will allow someone to hurt you to reveal what was hidden in your own heart too. Maybe you were too dependent on them. Maybe you had made them an idol. Maybe you were finding your identity, your value, your worth in what they thought about you instead of what God says about you. God allowed the pain to reveal where you were placing your trust, so He could redirect that trust back to Him, where it always belonged. If this is resonating with your spirit right now, if God is revealing something to you through this message, type "reveal" in the comments. Let's build a community of testimony right here. Now, I want to take a moment to address something important, because I know some of you might be thinking, but it still hurts. I understand the purpose, but the pain is still real. And you're absolutely right. Understanding the purpose doesn't erase the pain. Knowing God allowed it doesn't mean it didn't hurt. Being refined doesn't mean the fire doesn't burn. But here's what I've learned. You can be hurt and healed at the same time. You can acknowledge the pain and recognize the purpose. You can grieve what you lost and celebrate what you're gaining. God isn't asking you to pretend it didn't hurt. He's asking you to trust Him in the hurt. He's not asking you to deny the pain. He's asking you to believe that He can use it. He's not asking you to forget what happened. He's asking you to forgive so you can be free. And here's the beautiful truth. God was with you in every moment of that pain. When they hurt you, God felt it too. When you cried, He collected every tear. When you felt alone, He was closer than He'd ever been. He didn't cause the pain, but He allowed it. And there's a difference. He allowed it because He trusted you with it. He allowed it because He knew you were strong enough to survive it. He allowed it because He had already prepared your healing, your breakthrough, your next chapter. Isaiah 43:2 says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." Notice it says when, not if. God knew you'd go through waters. He knew you'd walk through fire. But He promised you wouldn't drown, and you wouldn't burn. And here you are, still standing, still breathing, still believing. That's not luck. That's God's faithfulness. So let me leave you with this truth that I need you to write on your heart. That person who hurt you, God didn't send them to destroy you. He allowed them to develop you. Every tear you cried watered the seeds of your future. Every night you spent broken was a night God was rebuilding you stronger, wiser, better. And I need you to hear this, because somebody watching this right now needs to know. You are not damaged goods. You are not too broken to be blessed. You are not disqualified because of what they did to you. You are not less valuable because they didn't see your value. You are not a failure because that relationship failed. You are not unworthy because they treated you as if you were. You are being prepared. You are being positioned. You are being promoted. Stop giving them power over your future by replaying the pain of your past. Stop letting what they did determine what God can do. Stop allowing their rejection to block your reception of everything God has for you. It's time to make a decision right now. Forgive them, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Not because what they did was okay, but because holding on to it is keeping you from where God is taking you. Not because they asked for it, but because your freedom requires it. Release them, bless them even, pray for them, not from a place of weakness, but from a place of strength. Not because you're a doormat, but because you're a disciple. Not because you're naive, but because you're free. And then move forward. Stop looking back at what God has already handled. Stop returning to what God has already released you from. Stop mourning what God has already replaced. God let them hurt you, but He never let them destroy you. And now, right now, it's time to step into everything He's been preparing you for. Your wilderness season is ending. Your waiting period is over. Your next chapter is beginning. And it's going to be better than anything you lost. It's going to be greater than anything they took from you. It's going to be more beautiful than anything you could have imagined. If you receive this word, type Amen in the comments right now. If this message blessed you today, if God spoke directly to your heart through this video, I need you to do 4 things. First, smash that like button so this message can reach someone else who's hurting and needs to hear it. Second, subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications because God has more for you, and I don't want you to miss a single message that could be your breakthrough. Third, drop a comment below. If God is healing you right now, if you're choosing to forgive and move forward, if you're in the refining process and trusting God anyway, just type Amen in the comments. Let's create a chain of breakthrough and testimony right here. Let's build a community of people who've been hurt but refuse to be held back. And fourth, this is important. If you know someone who needs to hear this message today, someone who's still hurting from what someone did to them, someone who's questioning why God allowed their pain, share this video with them right now. Send them the link. Tag them in the comments. You might just be the answer to the prayer they prayed this morning. God bless you. I'm praying for you, and I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to talk about what to do when God is silent during your storm.